It's simply another demonstrable facet of Moscow not understanding that it is in their interest to come to the table with the only man who can bring peace to Europe.
So much going on with Trump in the Middle East, particularly his meeting with the boss of the new Syrian regime. From a security point of view, what is your assessment of the new Syrian regime?
Too early to tell. We're very happy that the murderous regime of Assad fell and that Iran now is denied that territory to resupply its murderous proxies. The president has been very clear about the potential for a great future for that nation, but that will have to come through a recognition and a representation of all the constituent elements, including the Kurds, the Druze, the Christians. So there's a lot to play for, but there's a lot of potential as well.
The head of Syria, the new regime, obviously a former Al Qaeda member, connected to the Al Nusra front as well. Is it possible, do you think, for a person with that background in the current situation to change enough to give security guarantees to the US that you can believe?
Well, technically, he's not a former member of Al Qaeda. He's a founding member of Al Nusra, which was an offshoot of Al Qaeda, to be technically correct. We shall wait and see. There is this version of events whereby he is more of a nationalist. He's more about Syria than he is about some global ideology. Time will tell. He has the potential to do that if he can bring the constituent parts into the government in Damascus. He's got a shot at it, but right now nobody knows. He's got a potential. He's got the backing of the most powerful man in the world to bring Syria to some form of stability. Let's see if he can do it.
And what's the time frame, do you think, for that? What would the US like to see?
No, there's
Because
no time frame. Okay, no time frame. This isn't mathematics. Okay, there's no time frame in statecraft.
so there's no limit to. So you think that
There's
there's
no
not a.
there's no quantitative limit. No. There's no 6 months or 6 years. No, that's not how governing countries works. It's not a mathematical equation. It's not gravity.
No, although Trump has been known for setting himself targets of statecraft being achieved in a certain period. He talked about
That's for him. That's not for heads of other states.
oh, I see. So he has a slight more freedom than they do. Do you think
No,
the
you're responsible for what you do. Human beings aren't responsible for what other people do.
should the UK follow Trump's lead? Do you think and drop sanctions on Syria?
I am an employee of the White House. I will not be giving advice to 10 Downing Street.
Trump's tour in the Middle East, hugely successful in lots of ways, certainly from a business point of view, and the manner in which he's brought people to the table. Is it a message at all to Israel, the way he's conducted himself in the Middle East? It's a trip that he's made. He's not going to Israel. He's not seeing Netanyahu. Is there a message in it from the American administration to Israel?
This is such a strange question. I've been asked it before. The first person to visit the Oval Office after the second inauguration of President Trump was Benjamin Netanyahu. Not only that, he's the only head of state who's come to Washington, D.C. multiple times within 100 days. There's no negative message being inferred putatively or otherwise to the government in Jerusalem. On the contrary, we stand shoulder to shoulder with Israel as it fights to bring eternal damnation and hellfire down on the evil incarnate responsible for October the 7th. So, no, there's no hidden message to Jerusalem.
The deal that Trump wants to strike with Iran. I mean, Trump is speaking directly to people who historically America has not spoken directly to before. Sebastian Gorka, would he want guarantees over Israel from a country like Iran? Is he batting for Israel when he's talking to Iran?
There's one nation the president represents. He represents the United States, 77 million citizens of which voted for him. He's not representing any other country.
But he does have a view, as you say, he stands shoulder to shoulder to Israel at a time when many countries want its elimination. You've been very strong on that before on this program. I know that the president has as well.
Absolutely. They're our greatest partner in the region, the only functioning democracy in the Middle East.
Let's talk briefly about Ukraine, if we may, Sebastian. Putin not coming to Turkey to talk peace. I know Trump wanted him to. What do you make of the chances of Putin coming to the table in the future? What do you make of what's going to happen in Turkey today? Zelensky's going to be there. Rubio is there talking to NATO leaders as well, but Putin is not going to be there. What's your analysis of that?
It's simply another demonstrable facet of Moscow not understanding that it is in their interest to come to the table with the only man who can bring peace to Europe. So, sadly, one more instance of intransigence, but we hope they will see the light, and then the meat grinder of Ukraine and the conflict on the Eurasian landmass can be stopped.
Do you think Putin needs at some point to actually meet with Zelensky? Because that he's never wanted to do that he hasn't done that for more than a decade. Zelensky says he's willing. It doesn't strike us watching this from afar that Putin has ever been that willing. Does he need to take that step, do you think?
Eventually, he will take that step.
Do you still retain confidence in that?
Eventually, he will take that step, yes.
And just finally, Sebastian, what do you make of Trump, the diplomat on the world stage, particularly in the Arab countries? From the outside, it feels like he's found common ground with people. Is that a question of the economy talking and his ability to do deals talking, or is it something else? Is it his ability to talk to people that others wouldn't want to talk to?
It is very simple. The Middle East respects people who love their countries and who demonstrate leadership and courage. That is the absolute apotheosis. That is the definition of the Trump administration. The fact that we have a man at the zenith of statecraft, an individual who 8 years ago in the Hijaz addressed 42 Arab and Muslim heads of state and said back then, you need to rip jihadism out of your countries, from the mosques, from the streets. 8 years later, we've gone from the message of stability and security after President Trump crushed the ISIS caliphate to one of shared prosperity. That's why he will be bringing back more than $1 trillion worth of investment from the region in the United States. So yes, the region understands that America is back, led by a man who loves our country, unlike his predecessor who hated it. So yes, that is recognized by the leaders in the Middle East.
And just finally, Sebastian, your job is to make sure that America remains safe within all that. How confident can you be that jihadism, extreme Islam, Wahhabism, which came out of Saudi Arabia originally, won't find its way back to your country? That must be the concern, and the concern of Americans as well. They respect, I suspect, Trump doing economic deals, but they will be concerned about what might come out of Syria. They will even be concerned about what might come out of Saudi Arabia. Your job is to deal with that. How do you feel about, as the links get closer, do you feel more confident actually that the extreme version of Islam won't find its way back to the United States of America?
It's not a question of competence. It's not a question of my confidence. It's a question of empirical facts. For 4 years, the threat was denied. We had no borders. 20 million illegals were let into the country, and Islamo-fascist regimes like Iran were coddled and financed by the Biden administration. Under the leadership of the president, our counterterrorism team has killed more than 84 leading HVTs, high-value target jihadi leaders, in just the last 110 days. That is excluding the operations against the Houthis. America is back in the business of counterterrorism.